Hello, Carla. So I'm going to show you how I do the pizza dough the way Nonna showed me. I'm using Fleshman's Active Dry Yeast. It's a pouch, an envelope of 8 grams of yeast. And I'm using lukewarm water, about a cup. I'm making a small batch just for me to show you how I start up a pizza dough. So your lukewarm water, take your yeast and just put it inside. Okay? Next, to help it activate, you need sugar. So I use just a pinch of sugar, and that's going to help it activate. Then I also put some salt. Not too much, a pinch of salt. Then what's important for pizza dough is for it not to become dry. So I use canola oil. Okay, I use about a tablespoon of canola oil. Remember, this is 1 cup of water. I'm also going to be using a 1 cup measuring cup for the flour. So once you've done this process, give it a little stir. With a fork, and you can actually see the yeast starting to dissolve. It's coming alive. Okay, this is what's going to give the dough texture, air. Okay, and you can actually see it. I don't know if you do, but you can actually see it starting to activate. Give it a little stir. So the salt, sugar, and oil gets all mixed up. Okay? Now, you don't have to wait for it to get any bigger, or it's already started to do its thing. So what I start with is I'm going to start with 1 cup of flour. Take a cup of flour, put it in, and mix it again. Mix it thoroughly. Like that. And as you can see, it's like a paste, like papier mâché. Okay? What's important here is that it mixes well. You don't have to rush. You just mix it like that. Okay? Now, one thing I do, because of I've been doing it for such a long time, is I use the same bowl to mix everything and make the dough, and I don't have to use multiple bowls. I just use always the same one, okay? So once you've given it a good mix, add another cup. Okay? And again, mix it again. Now, as you keep adding flour, it's going to get thicker and thicker. And with time, you'll know exactly how much flour you can put. Okay, you see now it's not a paste anymore. See? So at this point, what I do is I stop using the fork, because now you got to use your hands. Remember to wash your hands. And the key thing at this point is to have your hands wet. Okay? That way it won't stick as much. And now with your hands, start forming a ball. See, I could already tell that this will probably need maybe 1 more cup of flour, just by handling it with my hands. I know already it may need 1 cup of flour. So what you do at this point, when you think you're almost there, you don't add the full cup, but just add about 1/4 cup on the side there, like that. And you start kneading like this. When you see that it comes a bit wet, put it where the flour is. You keep kneading. See, I already know now that this is enough flour. So I used 1 cup of lukewarm water and 2 1/4 cup of flour. And you knead like this. Put some more flour. And at this point here now, what I do, because I can see that there's enough flour, is I form it into a ball like this. And as you can, you make sure that there's flour at the bottom. Okay. Now the key thing to do when you form the ball of dough to make it rise is you form it into a ball just like I'm doing, like this. And where you're going to place it in the flour, you pinch it like this. So you close all this part like that. Put it in the bowl with the flour. Now you have to make it rise. And by doing, what I always do, is I take a clean cotton dish cloth. I get it all wet. I rinse it, but it's nice and wet, and I cover it. This way, as it rises, the dishcloth won't stick to the dough. That's why you have to wet it. And what you do now is you have to let it rise, keep it in a warm place. I usually stick it into a cold oven, because what you don't want is a draft of air interrupting the growth. Okay, so what I do is I pop it into the oven, a cold oven, and you come and check it in about half an hour. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly that, and we're going to come back. Because don't forget that as it rises, okay, you'll have to handle it again. and you may need to put more flour. But that you'll only know once it starts to rise. So I'm going to give it about half an hour, and I'll see you then, okay?